Welcome to the Crow's Nest, where we fly above the noise and get real. No filters, no fluff, just mindset, movement, and the mayhem of chasing what most want. I'm Brandon Lee, this is Jess.
And we're lifting the lid on what it takes to fly differently. This is where grit meets growth. Let's get into it.
Let's go. Say go.
Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Crow's Nest podcast, a space for honest stories about endurance, relationships, and the unseen battles people face. I'm your host, Brandon Lee.
And today's episode is one that hits deep. We're talking about something that most people haven't heard of, or if they have, they seriously underestimate it. I'm going to butcher this, but Hyperemesis Gravidarum, or HG, as we're going to refer to, is not just morning sickness. It's a severe and often traumatic pregnancy condition that affects 1 in 100 women who are diagnosed. And it turns the daily life into survival mode. So joining us are our two beautiful friends, Lisa and Marcus, an incredible couple who went through this together. Their story is one of heartbreak, confusion, and so much resilience.
Welcome, Lisa and Marcus, to the Crow's Nest podcast.
How are you guys?
Thank you for being our first guest, by the way.
No, thank you for having us.
Yeah, and by the way, this is Jessica. She forgot to introduce herself.
And I'm Jess, yep.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah, thanks for coming on today, guys. And we understand that it's pretty personal for you. So thanks for sharing your story today. And I'm sure a lot of our listeners, if we have any, that are going to probably relate and probably not have a clue on what this HG, is it HG? Mm-hmm. Yeah, HG is all about. So
before we get started, do you want to tell us a little bit about yourselves?
I love that question. Well, I'm Lisa. We're parents of one beautiful little girl. She's nearly 2. Her name's Billy. We've also got a golden retriever named Doug, who we love just as much.
And he loves
it.
And I'm just a husband.
Yeah. What about the second half?
My name's Marcus. And I'm just a plumber and Billy's dad. Yeah.
And my husband. Oh wait, you said that.
Yeah. And helping with my hot water suit.
Yeah. That's it.
So setting the scene before HG took hold, what was the beginning of your pregnancy look like?
I mean, I think not only does our story obviously have HG in it, which is a big part of it, I guess the whole pregnancy thing is such mixed emotions for us. I mean, Marcus and I were, I guess, very happy not to have kids. So, Billy was obviously a happy surprise to us. But yeah, pregnancy to me wasn't something that I had really thought of or I guess had visioned for my life. Obviously things have changed now, but I guess at the beginning of it, I felt really pressured, not by people per se, but I guess by society to be really happy and I guess have that instant connection and bond and...
Yeah, you also are never sold on having a kid. You always, one day you did, one day she didn't, and then you also had a big fear of not being able to have a baby either.
Yeah,
Lisa would always say to me the women in her family go through menopause quite young, late 30s. And you always just had a gut feeling that it just would never kind of work out for you. So I think that was also a big part in why you were kind of never
sold.
100% sold on having a baby.
So even before this, there was a lot of uncertainty to the journey, I guess.
Yeah, a lot.
Yeah, a wild amount.
I remember when you told me you were pregnant, Lisa, you came over and I was already 3 months pregnant and we went to High Point, and I think at the time you were about 5 or 6 weeks and you just started noticing the feeling of getting sick.
Yeah.
And we were going to get a boost juice, and you're like, oh, this is just the start of things. Like, I can't stomach it. I'm like, oh, you'll be right. Like, it always comes at this many weeks. So when did you start noticing that things were maybe not as typical as most people experienced?
I mean, it's tricky. It's tricky to pinpoint like an exact time, I guess. But I think, like you just said, whenever I said that, to people or to medical professions or anyone, I feel like this. They'd be like, that's just the first trimester. Like, it's normal to feel morning sickness and it means your baby's healthy and all of this stuff. So in my head, I was like, well, this is normal. This is just what people go through, and some people must have it worse than others, and like anything really. I was really lucky to see a GP when I first took a pregnancy test, and it was positive, and she actually had hyperemesis in her pregnancy. And like, she didn't mention it to me. Yeah, she didn't mention it to me when I told her about it, but I think I saw her maybe when I was like 5 weeks pregnant. And then I had to go back and pick an obstetrician and things. So I went back a couple of weeks later, and she'd said to me, how are you feeling? And I said, I feel awful. Like, this is happening. I'm vomiting. And there's actually a test that you can do for hyperemesis. And it's like a scale. So it's basically like, it might ask a question. I can't remember off my head, but it's like a scale of how many times are you vomiting? Do you feel nauseous all the time, sometimes, and things like that. But I think probably
I was going to say, how do you how is that different to like morning sickness? Like like normally you're sick, so is it like pretty much going upon like, morning sickness, you vomit a lot, is it just more frequent, or like
it's like all day. It's like constant, all day, every day.
I've never heard of this. I have no clue.
When I told Brandon about this, he's like, I've never heard of this before.
Like
I mean, a lot of people haven't. And I mean, I hadn't heard of it a massive amount, I would say. I had a friend that was pregnant at the time when I was very early pregnant, and she had it. So I'd kind of seen her go through it. But I mean, before that...
Yeah, I'd never heard of it either, Brandon. Like, I was just like, I was probably the same. Like, oh, yeah, it's probably just a bit of morning sickness, and then the kind of week just went on, and it was kind of just not getting any better. It was probably getting worse. Like, it just was, like, throughout the day. It wasn't, like, violent vomiting, or sometimes it was, but it was just, like, consistent throughout the day.
Yeah, I think probably by week 10, I got to a point where I realised the magnitude of it. So I found out when I was 5 weeks, and when I went back at 10 weeks, I'd lost 10 kilos in 5 weeks.
Oh, so they confirmed it at 5 weeks that you had it?
They didn't confirm it. It's one of those things that...
I think there's a bit of a stigma about it.
Yeah.
Because, like, I know the experiences we had, like, some doctors kind of believe in it and some don't. So it's kind of like... I know Lisa had a few bad experiences in the hospital. Just kind of, how would you say it? Like, just drink ginger tea, just, eat some ice chips, just like the old wife,
Yeah.
They treat it as normal, so to speak.
Yeah, he was given her alcohol swabs to sniff, and it's like, no, like, mate, she's been like this for, like, 4 months, and we've gone to the hospital, and they're like, they end up having to put her on a drip because she's so malnourished, and it's like there's obviously something more going on than just a bit of nausea. So that was a challenging part.
And watching you deteriorate, Lisa, like saying from 10 weeks how much weight you lost. Obviously, for background, Lisa and I worked together. At the time, I was at work 2 days a week, and watching you on those 2 days a week vomit in your desk drawer.
Yeah, Jess was telling me that.
I was like,
Yeah.
and that was so early on in your pregnant. Like, you were half the people at work wouldn't have even told people yet, and you were that violently ill, like not stomaching water, and you weren't eating. I think you had like a little thing of bloody crackers or something that you like bloody micro nibble on.
She had plenty of frozen Coke. I think that was
towards the end of it. Yeah,
her staple was frozen Coke. At 7 o'clock in the morning, getting Slurpees before work.
It's something. So you confirm that you've only heard of HG once, like before experiencing this yourself?
Yes, I remember hearing Oh, yeah, like I said, one of my good friends had it. Before that, people used to refer to it as, they would say, oh, you have what the princess have. And I would thought, what does that mean? And one of the princesses had it. So, like, I think that obviously helped with a bit of awareness. But again, it's just, I mean, there's not enough, I guess, research that has gone into it.
Like even telling, I was telling my mum, we were doing this podcast about HG, and she's like, oh, that's what your auntie had like 25 years ago, and they just didn't have a label for it, you know.
Yeah,
so
that's wild,
people
isn't
have been experiencing this for forever, but, you know, the medical profession hasn't caught up to it. So
Yeah,
was there a moment after that 10-week mark where you're like, this is not okay, like I need help?
Yes, I think because I had no relief for 9 months. So I think it was only, it took Marcus to say to me, enough's enough. You know, I believe, and Jess, you probably would know, I'm a person that, you know, I guess doesn't like to ask for help or doesn't want to be a burden on, I don't know, like I can't even explain it.
You're very resilient. I remember it was like there'd been, I think one of the biggest things that kind of helped Lisa was just sitting in the shower. So like she would sit in the shower for like, you know, 2-3 hours at a time and just sitting there on the floor in the shower. And it literally got to the point where she'd been crying, and I was like, enough's enough. Like this is bullshit. Like
The water bill's too high.
well, it wasn't nice. Like, you know. Again, I kind of was probably a bit naive in the fact that I'd never heard of it. And I was like, oh, you know, it'll probably come to an end soon. Like, you know, we've all heard of morning sickness and rah. But just to see the toll that it was actually taking on Lisa and how it was affecting her, it was like, well, like, enough's enough. It's not just morning sickness. Like, there's something else going on here, and we kind of need to get to the bottom of it. And then that's when we went straight to hospital the next day.
And how many weeks were you at this point?
I think I was about 3 months pregnant at that point, was my first hospital visit. And I mean, I went private in my pregnancy, so I had an obstetrician, but you don't see them as frequently in the beginning. She was aware of obviously how I was feeling, and, you know, she was the person that said to me, if you ever feel like, you know, you're dizzy or you, you know, are not able to keep food or water down, that you have to come in and get fluids. And not that I didn't listen, but I kept saying in my head, you're okay, you're okay, you're okay.
She's a bit stubborn.
No, I'm not stubborn.
I guess, like,
No, very just
so
strong-willed.
trying not to, like, in any situation like that, you're trying to psych yourself up like it's fine. Like, saying it out loud, it's like,
There
makes
was
it
no
real.
point where you kind of said in your head, like, this is fucked, like, I need help. There was no point.
To Lisa's credit, she's so strong-willed in that regard. She's like,
Marcus said,
she doesn't even like taking Panadol when she has a headache. Like, she's like, no, I'm fine, I don't need it. Like, she's very resilient in that regard. So it was literally when she was at her breaking point, I was like, no, like, I'm sick of seeing you like this, enough's enough, and I'm taking you in, and that's it. And I think you were so just physically drained at that point, you just like, yeah, you're right. I need to go in, and we need to see. And then that's when we got on the drips, and you were getting regular IVs and that.
At this visit, so you're 3 months pregnant, and this is typically where that morning sickness goes away.
Yeah.
How did they take you when you were in the hospital? Like, were they...
was it like the GP kind of like, it's just normal, or were they actually like...
taking it seriously?
My first visit was awful, if I'm honest. It was my first experience of... and people with HG talk about this, about a lot of medical professions not taking it seriously. And for it to happen on my first one, it was really challenging because it put me off going back. And I went in, obviously, not against my will, but I went in to hospital not wanting to go into hospital. And, you know, when you go into hospital, they say, you know, what's wrong? And I said, I'm pregnant. I'm 3 months pregnant. I haven't been able to keep any water down. And it was, well, when was the last time you had a drink? And, you know, explaining all the things that are happening. And then, well, have you tried this? And have you tried this? And I would say, I've tried, like, you know, I'm on this medication. I'm on this medication. Now I've changed to this medication. And, you know, for a doctor to turn around and say to me, well, it's not safe for you to be on that. you shouldn't be on those medications when you're pregnant after obviously my GP and my obstetrician have prescribed me these medications. It makes you sit there and think, oh my God, am I hurting this baby? And then, secondly, you're like, I just need help. I need help. And I think we were there for a really long time before they were willing to give me fluids.
Yeah, well, I think we mentioned it before. Like, he literally made her eat ice chips, and then she would throw it up, and then it was like, try ginger tea, and we're like, she's tried it, like, she can't keep it down. He's like, oh, well, you need to try it anyway. And like, it was just like, again, and then he gave you that. He literally pulled out an alcohol swab and said, sniff this. And I just like looked at Lisa and I was like, well, I've just told you she's been throwing up for like the last 3 months. You can't keep any food down, and you're telling her to sniff an alcohol swab? Like, come on, mate.
Yeah, it's like...
It was very disheartening.
Sorry?
It's like dehumanizing. Like, it just doesn't make you feel like you're...
Well, like, they didn't believe her.
Yeah. And at this appointment, did you get a diagnosis? Or what came of this?
It took a little bit, I guess, for anyone to talk about hyperemesis. Like I mentioned in very early stages, my GP had kind of briefly said something to me, but didn't diagnose me with it because I was so obviously early. But she was amazing she wrote a list basically of like, first try this vitamin, then try this tablet. And then she said, if these aren't helping, come back and I'll prescribe you A, B, and C. So I went through the list, and I think it was like a vitamin B12 I tried first. It did nothing. I then was put onto Restovit, it's basically a sleeping tablet, which helps with nausea. So I started with like a quarter of a tablet. I mean, by the end of my pregnancy, I was taking 2 a night. And then it moved on to things like a Danzatron. At one point I was on steroids because I was so unwell.
And mind you, like, she's still throwing up through all of this. Like, if she hadn't taken the sleeping tablets, it'd be a lot worse than if she had taken them. So like, there was like mild relief, but it never cured. Nothing cured it.
No, I mean, nothing cures HG. They say that the medication is meant to stop or decrease vomiting, but not the nausea.
Which is just as bad, really. I guess, like, I don't know, when you're sick and you vomit, you get an instant of relief. Is that like with HG too? Like, when you vomit, you feel like a bit good afterwards, or?
No, it is something that, like, it's so hard to explain. And I remember when I was at work, I don't know if this was with you, Jess, but I took a sip of, I think it was like a tea or something. I took a sip and it just came directly back up. And I remember sitting there, and I don't know if it was you, but they just looked at me and it was silent. Like, and that's just what would happen is the second that something that I swallowed, it would just come directly back up. And I didn't even have to heave or make any movements. It was just directly up.
She was like a pro vomiter.
Yeah.
Watching you vomit into a bag, I was like, how are you're so discreet? It was just like...
We went to gold class one night while she was crook, because like, she just needed to get out of the house. Like, we'll go to gold class, we can just like recline the chair and she can kind of lay, and be a bit more comfortable. And she had the spew bag in gold class and was just silently vomiting through the movie, and no one was none the wiser. She was amazing.
Can you believe you did that? Like, you survived that. Like, that is just...
Imagine if you're a loud vomiter.
Don't worry, there was some of the nights, Brandon, I'd be in the lounge room watching TV, and then I'd just hear heaving coming from the shower, and I knew that was my cue to go in and do some back rubbing.
It was getting bad.
That's all I could do was just rub her back. Like, but yeah, it was all part of it.
How long did it take to get a diagnosis?
I remember, and I think it might have been my obstetrician, I had come back from that first hospital visit where obviously we felt very disheartened, and I told her about it. And she gave me a piece of paper, and it basically said, Lisa Sedgman, this is her diagnosis. This is the medication she's on. And it just listed, God, it honestly just kept going. Like, I can't even tell you I couldn't even remember the name of the tablets that I was on. But she just said to me, the next time you need to go in, just give them the piece of paper. So that's what I started doing. And it was just, to me, it's so ridiculous thinking that I would still have to then explain myself. I would still have to go into detail about, why are you on this?
We're going in every 2 weeks and like they're still asking the same questions. But I actually remember when we had that first visit with the doctor who was not, like who didn't believe in it. And one of the nurses that day actually come up after he left and said her daughter or someone in her family had gone through this exact thing and she knew what it was. But she just said some doctors are just, and more so male doctors, I guess, because they can't experience it.
They don't know what it's like.
Yeah, and unfortunately, that's probably right. Like, that's just the way it is. They don't know what it is, and so she hinted at that as well.
And how, far into your pregnancy was this?
This was at the first 3-month visit, and then when you got fully diagnosed would have been
4 or 5 months.
Yeah, 4 months, I reckon, then a month after.
Yeah.
It's still so early. Early.
Yes.
Yeah, it was a long time.
So you got the diagnosis. What was Lisa Sedgman's typical day look like? And what was a typical day?
Paint a picture for us.
Yeah, because
I
think everyone's heard, all this, and they just want a bit of detail. What's a day like? What's it like of Lisa?
With HG.
With HG.
Yeah, well, I mean, I look back on it now and I worked for too long. I worked through my sickness. I think I got to about, I want to say 32 weeks at work, vomiting 20 times a day. I don't know how I did it, but I did it. And when I think back and reflect on why I did that, it was because it was the only control that I had left in my life was that I get up and I go to work.
It was a little bit of a distraction.
Yeah, it was a distraction. But, I could, to some extent, put on a face and be normal because any kind of part of my life was taken. I didn't go out. I barely spent time with Marcus. I didn't go, and see many friends. I didn't really drive anymore to places because when I was home, I just wanted to be in bed.
Or you'd throw up in the car.
Or in the shower. So, I mean, a lot of my time obviously was spent at work. But as Jess mentioned, I had a desk and I had the bottom drawer and it was full of Emesis bags, which are vomit bags. And I just vomited in them. I took my vomit bags to my meetings.
We had vomit bags.
We haven't specified. You don't have a desk job. You are a teacher.
Yes.
So it's not a sit-down job that you can be typing away at your laptop and vomiting. It is a on-the-go sticky vomit, dealing with a million things at once. So
and you hid it from everyone for a while, didn't you?
I mean, I didn't tell a lot of people that we were pregnant. It kind of got to a point where I had to tell people because I needed to explain why I couldn't show up or, why I wasn't around or why I was vomiting into my desk drawer. I think people obviously at work knew probably before some of my family and friends. But I mean, I would work, I would vomit, I wouldn't eat and drink at work because that would make me vomit. So I guess it took its toll on me in the sense that I was withholding food and any sort of food and drinks to work to get through. And then, I would get home and I would try and drink some water or I would try and drink anything and I would then sit in the shower, as Marcus said, 2 hours, 3 hours, and then I would go to bed.
And just repeat the next day, really.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty much on repeat. We literally had we'd have vomit bags scattered through the house, in the cars, at Lisa's work. We just had them everywhere. And then, Lisa's day was pretty much go to work, come home, straight in the shower, and then go to bed.
And you're not absorbing any nutrients. Like anyone who is pregnant, there is a baby sucking all the nutrients out of you, regardless of how much you eat and drink. So no wonder you don't have the energy or strength to
Yeah.
drive or function. Like, that is remarkable you even got through 32 weeks.
Some of us can't function without a coffee.
Yeah.
We complain.
Exactly. No, she did very well. But yeah, there were a few frozen Cokes that was kind of your staple diet. That was the only thing that you could kind of sip on.
I think later in the pregnancy, that was I would still vomit it up, but it would sit better than water. And I mean, at the start, I would go and take keep cup of Slurpee, and no one would know. They'd think that it was just like a coffee or something. And then by the end of it, I was rolling into work at 8 a.m. with a extra large 7-Eleven Slurpee cup, and I just had no cares.
You mentioned that by 3 months you'd already lost 10 kilos. And obviously people, I'm not sure if they did, but were they starting to notice that there was a difference as your pregnancy prolonged? Like,
I mean, I definitely would look in the mirror, and I know it sounds so ridiculous, but like I just wouldn't recognize myself. It wasn't just the weight, it was the fact that like my skin color changed. I had rashes all over my face and body from dehydration. I was losing hair. My gums were bleeding all the time, so they were just like bright red. I look back at photos and I looked hollow. And I mean, I think someone, and this was before we hadn't announced that we were pregnant, and when it kind of came out, someone said to me, "Oh yeah, I saw the photo of you and I thought you looked great. You'd lost so much weight." And I was like, oh.
You have no idea what someone is going through. I actually remember, I said this to Brandon, I remember coming to visit you and I left seeing you and I said, you just look like a shell of like, you're such a vibrant person, and it was just like, all your effort was just staying calm and staying present and surviving, really.
No, I think you said it well, Jess. She definitely was a shell of who she was. Like, she just kind of lost herself in the pregnancy. Like,
how did that make you feel, Marcus, like watching your partner go through this?
It would have been so frustrating. Like,
it wasn't. Well, it was frustrating, but it was just hard seeing like someone you care about, and then like just like being able to do nothing. Like, all I could do was sit in the shower with her and rub her back, or just like pat her back when she went to sleep, and like that's all I could do. Like, I couldn't do anything to make the sickness go away. I couldn't cook her dinner to, give her something. Like, I just couldn't do anything. Like, and because she was so tired, she'd shower and go to bed. So like, I was kind of probably like, we kind of talked about like we were just kind of housemates, because she'd go to bed and just sit in the shower, and I would like just kind of be by myself. So it was a weird time. Like,
and people are probably like pushing this time, oh, enjoy it before the baby comes. This is a special time, and you're surviving.
just had no time to enjoy, like...
And you're kind of robbed of that experience.
Yeah.
Like, people share their pregnancy stories of, this time and this milestone, and probably a lot of that for you guys is overshadowed with that.
Well, there was just so many phone calls. Like, you would call me on your way home from work on the side of the road, and just like, I've thrown up all over the car, all over myself. I'm like, I'll come get ya. Like, it was just constant, and it was hard. You would get frustrated, like, because I'd be there like, what can I do, and you're like, you can't do anything. So it was hard. I'm trying to be supportive, but there's nothing I can do to ease her pain. So yeah, it was very tricky to navigate.
And it's something that's not, you don't have exposure to, so you don't know how to navigate it.
No.
Like, this person does this, that's really helpful. It's like, what? Nothing to go from.
Especially when not many people like want to explain it, or like there's not much information about it. Like, fuck, you're just winging it.
Literally.
Literally, yeah. There's like, it was a very different experience.
Oh yeah.
And like, I think towards the end of the pregnancy, the obstetrician said to us, like, because Lisa had a birth plan and wanted to have a natural birth and all that, and then the obstetrician was like, I don't think you'll have the strength to push. Like, I think it'll take too much out of you. And she recommended a cesarean, which was another aspect of the pregnancy where you felt like you just missed out yet again.
Totally. And I feel like a lot of women, if they're, especially wanting something like specific in their pregnancy, that's their choice. But you kind of have that removed because of HG.
It's all those happy moments. And I mean, Instagram and movies, and they make pregnancy seem like it is the best time. You're glowing and you're experiencing this baby grow, and you're seeing the ultrasounds and all of that stuff, and mine was nothing like that. I remember going to ultrasounds and I mean the technicians are so lovely and they're so happy and they want to show you your baby, and I remember walking out and saying to Marcus, I faked that. Like I'm not happy. And I think that that's a real issue, I guess, in society, and the lack of knowledge with hyperemesis is that the things that people say to you is like, well, you're going to get a baby out of it and it'll be worth it in the end. And in the moment,
you were done.
It's not.
Yeah.
And there were moments where, and like this is probably, I guess, the lowest point that I think about is, and I'll never forget it, I was on the shower floor and I just begged Marcus to make this end. I begged him that I didn't want the baby, and like for him to hear that and for me to say those things, and especially now that I have Billy, like I have so much guilt in thinking that I didn't want her. But, there's such a high percentage rate with women that have hyperemesis that do terminate their pregnancies. And it's really high. I think it's something like 70%. Like that is wild. And for people not to have, knowledge about this happening when it is happening to so many women, and it's just frightening. And, I obviously came out of it and I've been able to reflect on it, but that is one of the things that I think about a lot.
Yeah, we definitely had some scary moments throughout the pregnancy, especially for like Lisa's mental health. You could see.
I was just going to say that, like, how did your mental health individually and as a couple, like, get affected by this?
I mean, for me, individually, I could tell that I wasn't okay. And I think, as I mentioned earlier, with the fact that I wasn't sure that I wanted kids, that was an extra element to it. So, I'm sitting here going, I potentially didn't want this baby, and now I am so sick I don't even recognize myself.
Yeah, you didn't want it in the first place. Like,
I recognize that obviously I wasn't okay, and I saw a psychologist. So I was linked in with someone, and they specialized in like perinatal or antenatal. So I saw her on a fortnightly basis pretty early on. I couldn't tell you when, but I saw her up until I basically delivered Billy. And then I ended up going back to her about 4 months postpartum. And I mean, a lot of my appointments were just me sobbing, and it was just a space for me, I guess, to go and not have any judgment, and for her to say to me, this is shit. And I would speak to her about the fact that I'm meant to have this bond and I'm meant to feel this, and I feel the opposite. And she would say to me, why do you have to have a bond? And I guess it made me, it helped make me feel like I was normal to feel these things. And I mean, I don't know where I would be if I didn't see her.
And I'm so glad that you went and seek that help, because obviously a lot of women don't, or maybe not have, a supportive partner like Marcus who, can notice that and have that support system behind them. So that's like, if anyone's listening who, take a grain of salt, I think that's really important.
Yeah.
What about yourself, Marcus?
Look, I definitely noticed Lisa deteriorating over the course of the pregnancy, and then on those really hard days where she was like, I don't want to do it anymore, like I can't do it, like I just want it to end. Obviously, it's worrying to hear. So we kind of like, Lisa got some help. Like there's only so much I could do. Like you needed external help, and I think that was a massive help during the pregnancy. But like I said, we kind of just like, it wasn't that we grew apart, we just grew distant, because it was just like,
You both were surviving.
yeah, like I was kind of just stuck in my work routine, and then like I'd be like, right, I'm like mentally have to prep myself to like, right, I'm gonna have to sit with Lisa in the shower, and like even if we didn't talk, I just me being there was just enough. Like, sometimes you just wouldn't want me to touch her, but you just wanted me to sit with you, and that's all we did, just to kind of be present. So yeah, it was definitely a tricky time. It was just like something you don't expect when you're like, oh yeah, we're gonna have a baby.
100%.
And people,
You know what I mean?
probably,
100%.
as the psychologist mentions, like it's society's input of how you perceive it should be like, and your relationship, you're married, you're having, it's all these beautiful things, and it's like, oh my god, we are surviving here.
Yeah, I think the closer we got to the due date, like the harder it got. We weren't slogging it, but it was like day by day, like. And I don't think it was until the last. I remember like the day before we were booked in, and we woke up in the morning, and Lisa's like, "I'm not going. Like, I'm cancelling. I'm not doing this. Like,
I'm not having this baby.
And I was like, bullshit, we're going. Yeah. But yeah, it wasn't until the day before we were like, all right. But again, like, I was just getting more and more worried because it's like, she really doesn't want this baby. Like, there's no stopping it now. Like, she's going to be here in a couple of weeks. And that was probably my scariest time, was like in the hospital waiting for Billy to come out. And I was like, I don't know how Lisa's going to cope with this. Like, I know I was shitting my pants. I was like super worried about how she would react and how you would cope. So yeah, it's very, very, very scary.
Very scary compared to what I think anyone's reaction of having a baby is petrifying.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yours is 10 times on top of that.
It's not normal.
No, it's not. And for reference, I remember you FaceTiming me after Billy was born, and I've never seen your face so bright and so like
It's like an instant, like, it's done, like, oh my.
and you were so happy and so joyed, like you looked like yourself again.
Yeah. And people had said to me, the second you have her, it'll go away. The nausea will go away, the vomiting will go away, and I was like, all right, we'll see. And I mean, like this is just me now. I'm just a vomiter. I'm just nauseous all the time. Like, this is just my life. But I had a C-section, so I obviously had drugs and things on board. So I wouldn't say it went away instantly because of that. But I remember probably a few hours after, I was like to Marcus, get me a glass of water.
Yeah,
I want something to eat.
You tucked into a sandwich, like.
No, I had carrot sticks and hummus, and it was the best moment of my life.
Like a kebab or like, give me McDonald's, something.
No, it was literally like her slate had been wiped, and it was like, oh
Yeah, wow.
sick. What are you talking about? I'm not sick.
And how much relief did you both feel in that moment?
I mean, I felt like myself again. I mean, to some extent, you've just had a baby.
There was no relief for like shit. As you know, what are we doing now?
I think it honestly helped me. I mean, a silver lining in the whole hyperemesis thing is that it eased me into being a mum, because I had her and I felt finally like myself again. So, we got out of the hospital, and the next day we were at a cafe. I was walking down the street and I just had a baby. And it honestly, it eased me into being a mum.
Yeah.
When you were walking that cafe, you just needed that song, I'm a survivor.
My theme song.
It was playing in our heads as we walked in.
Mate, that would have been.
And how did you feel, Marcus, like obviously leading up to those last few weeks?
It was just like, it was full of excitement and like just being scared. Like I said before, I was just worried how Lisa was going to cope, and how we would like navigate having a newborn baby at home. Like, if Lisa was so kind of not wanting to do it, how is that going to look for our home life, really? But lucky enough, you kind of were all over it. And yeah, she just like you said, like literally as soon as she come out of recovery and got up to the hospital room, she had a big smile on her face, and she was excited to see Billy. And she was just a different person again.
It was like your soul came back into your body after that. I
Yeah.
just remember the FaceTime and I'm like, I said to Brandon, she looks like her again. Like, you look like it's not that shell anymore. It's like someone behind the eyes. It's back.
And like just the just before we went into theatre to have the cesarean, Lisa actually started getting contractions. So you were pretty like Lisa was but she was excited to like she at least got to experience kind of that
I'm
part
just thinking like,
it's like
of the natural birth. Like
It was very early. Like, they weren't, like, intense or anything.
yeah, no, but like I just remember you saying like I'm glad that I got to experience like some part
I like that.
of the natural
We
birth.
see from the outside as like us, you know, like the fathers, I guess, we see the outside, what
Yeah,
little things, you know.
yeah, definitely, and yeah, it was good. It was good to see you kind of have some kind of relief after such a hard time, such a long hard time.
Such a slog.
such a slog.
It was,
Yeah.
mate. It was a slog. I think we're still paying off our water bill, so
So through that journey, I think I know the answer to this, but do you feel like you were supported through the medical system?
I mean, yes and no. Like I said, the GP set me up for success, I guess, at the start. I'm really grateful that I had an obstetrician and that I saw her, I guess, frequently so she could monitor everything, like, well. And I guess, no, you know, it wasn't just that one doctor in the emergency room that made me feel like that. It was, you know, I had to go and get medication, and it was pharmacists that would, you know, have things to say like, you shouldn't be having this when you're pregnant. Because, I mean, by the end of it, I was very clearly pregnant. So me rolling in being like, I need rest of it and I need this and I need this. And they're like, is it for you? And it was also, you know, when I went and got ultrasounds and I'd said to them, I was clearly vomiting and I said, I'm sick. And, you know, it's those comments like, oh, it'll be worth it. And as long as you're not taking all those medications. And it was all those small comments that just got to a point where, like I said to Marcus, I'm not going to get my medication anymore. Like, I don't want to talk to any ultrasound people anymore. I don't want to go back to emergency. I want to see my obstetrician. I want to see the nurses that I know, because it just wears on you. Like, I mean, you already feel, and I can speak for obviously myself, but in research that I've done and people that I've spoken to or other podcasts I've listened to with people with hyperemesis, you feel a bit like a failure. You know, you feel like you should be able to do it and you should be doing it better, and all those comments that not only medical professions make, but, you know, some family and friends make, or people at work, and they say things to you and you just sit there and think you have no idea.
The battle that you're fighting every day, just to sort of deal with
It's just-
tolerance
it's
to everyone
filling-
else's.
It's filling your
Yeah.
cup every day, you know. It's like, mate, just
There's
shut
nothing.
it. Shut it.
Yeah.
So, what does recovery post-birth of HG look like physically and emotionally?
I mean, to me, I'm probably not recovered emotionally from it.
no.
There's obviously been times, you know, that I've had food poisoning or gastro, or I've felt sick, and it is like
You relive it.
the most emotional experience, and I do relive it, and it flashes back to all those moments, and it's really challenging, and there's still things, you know, I can't. It sounds ridiculous when I say it out loud, but I can't have a glass of water still. You know, it has to be basically frozen for me to be able to stomach water, or it has to have hydrolyte in it for me to be able to drink it. My teeth were affected because I vomited so much, so my enamel and things are gone.
I remember the like probably what Billy was born September. I reckon it was like January, February. It was a hot day, and I was like, "Oh, I'll bring Lisa home a frozen Coke," you know, because she loves it.
Oh, no.
And she just broke down in tears, and I was like, "What?" She's like, "I just can't even look at it." Like, and I don't think you've had one since. She's just like, "I just can't even the thought of having that." And then like she said, whenever she gets a tummy bug, it just brings up like you could never have another baby and go through that again. It just brings back so many hard times for her. So
Yeah.
not easy.
Like us having gastro in it, like I feel like gastro is the closest you're going to describe it to that constant debilitating. We isolate for 2 days and can't function, I don't think the magnitude that people understand, it's 9 months
Of constant gastro, like
constant
severe gastro.
fatigue and nausea. It's debilitating in all areas of your, like, you just don't recover from that, right?
No, and I mean, people have asked me, like, how would you describe the feeling? And, like, it's like you're hungover, but you're also boat sick, but you're also on a roller coaster. Smells, you can't smell, and sometimes light, you can't be in light. Like, it is the most debilitating, life-altering thing. Yeah, like it is something that you just can't even imagine until you're in it.
And I guess would you think that's why so many people don't know about it unless they've had it or had close experience with it, someone who's had HG?
Yeah, and I think still to this day, people are dismissed. And, I mean, there's a lot more research going into it at the moment. And I think it's becoming more like, and I don't know if it's just because I've had it that I hear about it a little bit more, or I'm more like prone to, I don't know, things on Instagram or things like that. But I hear about it a lot more now. It's something that it's just not recognised enough. And the statistics of so many things, like I said, like termination of pregnancies, people with hyperemesis, it's like 1 in 2 people that suffer. They're more prone to postnatal depression and anxiety and PTSD. And I think it's a really high number. It's like 75% of women that have had hyperemesis won't go and have a future pregnancy. So there's just so many elements to it. There's just not enough support for it, really.
I definitely found that, like, most of the female, like, medical staff were kind of more aware of it than the males were. All the midwives have heard of it, like the obstetrician, your GP. We've got a new family doctor who's, like, all about it. Where it was more kind of the men, really, that were just like, it's just a bit of morning sickness. It's part of pregnancy. Like, it'll pass. Like, it's part of it. It is what it is, pretty much, was the underlining statement. It is what it is. You'll be right.
Which is so concerning because, as you said, so many people with this condition terminate. Like, that could have been the tipping point for them to not keep their pregnancy.
Yeah.
Or not feel heard, or they might have not had support at home and looking for a medical professional which is scary.
Yeah, and like the HG, it varies. Like, some people it does finish up at 6 months, or it does finish up at 3 months, or it does finish up at 8 months. And it does carry through the whole pregnancy for some other people as well. So it's like there's such a scale for it. Yeah, so it's kind of hard to pinpoint exactly what's what.
It's like, it's not one shoe fits all.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly right.
So what do you think you wish more people knew about HG?
I mean, I think it's just
to accept it.
Yeah. And it's a survival thing, People with HG don't need judgments. They need compassion. They need
an IV.
They need an IV.
Yeah, an IV.
Like, that's it. They just need an IV, and they need to be checked in on, and that's it. Like, they're not asking, to move a mountain.
If you got it done early, like all the IV stuff, you reckon it would have subsided? Not subsided.
Well, it takes away the fatigue for her.
It would have imagine if people got onto it earlier.
Yeah, and I mean, by the end of my pregnancy, probably for the last maybe 3 months of it, I was going in weekly to get IVs, and I was in the hospital for like 5 hours every Thursday, and the next day I would feel probably slightly better because I had a bit more in my body, but by that night or by the next day I was back to feeling awful. And I mean, even with the IV, you still feel awful, but it does help. But it doesn't take it away. And I think people think, just go get some fresh air, or, get an IV, it'll make everything better, or keep yourself busy. But it's not. It's not like that at all.
Yeah. So having some clear recognition and compassion can go such a long way.
And I mean, if if your partner is pregnant, or if, you know, your friends are pregnant and you're hearing stories of them saying, oh, like I'm vomiting all the time and I'm this and I'm this, you know, bring awareness to it and say, have you looked into it? There's an organisation in Australia, it's called Hyperemesis Australia, and they have amazing information on their Instagram, on their website. They also have support groups. I know that at one stage in my pregnancy, I actually had emailed them and said, how do I make it through? I'm just over halfway. Like, I can't do this anymore. And they provided me with a lot of services. In my area, they provided me with a personal, you know, like, you've got this and this is this. And, you know, it wasn't just one of those like fluffy, you know, you're a superhero and you've got this and woohoo. It was a genuine thing of, this is really challenging. You are in the worst part right now. You know, this is what you can do. So just, yeah, I guess having an awareness of it.
And we're just going to say that...
would there be any advice you'd give to couples out there that are dealing with this right now, I guess?
I mean, if I was to do it all over again, I'd be more informed, obviously. So my advice to people that are going through this, especially in the beginning, is knowledge is power. Understand it, read about it, ask about it. You know, be your own advocate around it. Get your partner on board and make sure that, you know, your partner knows what you need and what medication you're on, and have that support system. And I mean, I know not everyone does. Knowledge is power and awareness is power. So, you know, reach out to Hyperemesis Australia, reach out. There are support groups in place.
And what about for yourself, Marcus? What do you think? If there's any partners going through this right now?
I guess just like, you just got to be there and ride the wave. Like, it's going to be hard. It's going to you're going to go through all the emotions, but you will get through it if you stick together.
Yeah.
And that's like, and that's all you can do. Just be a team and then just have your partners back. Yeah.
And Lisa, are you in like the Hyperemesis like support group now? Did I see that correctly?
Yeah, so Hyperemesis Australia they've put out some volunteer roles, and they basically asked for state representatives. So the organisation is run by 2 women who experienced HG in all their pregnancies, and they are very open about everything. They had a podcast which definitely helped me through my pregnancy. But yeah, so I am Regional Victoria's state representative. Look out. I know. It's just, I guess it's a way for awareness to be bigger. You know, for 2 women to do this across Australia is hard. So to have extra help and extra people to spread awareness and to help in their own state is going to, I guess, add to the amazing work that they already do. Yeah.
And do all the volunteers probably have had hyperemesis themselves?
Yeah. Yep. They're all, they actually refer to people that have had HG as survivors, which, I mean, at the start when I heard it, I was like, oh, like, no, I just was pregnant and I had it. But like, reflecting now, I can 110% say that I survived this, and it was the hardest thing that I've ever done.
Yeah, there was definitely some dark days.
Oh yeah, yeah.
No doubt.
I'm so glad that they have you on that team, because what you've provided here for anyone who might be listening, who knows someone who is expecting a pregnancy, who might think about pregnancy, this is so, like...
Even for someone that has not got a clue.
Yeah.
At least if they hear something or know something, they're like, hey, you know, listen
I've
to
heard
this.
of this, and these resources are out there, and you both have provided such insight to, like, such a vulnerable thing that is so important to talk about. We appreciate you both.
No, well, thank you for giving us the space to talk about it. I mean, this is probably the first time that I've, I guess, talked about it as in-depth as I have. Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much.
Well, we have 3 questions to wrap it up with.
So that's what we do now. The Crow's Nest podcast, we always have 3 last questions we ask everyone.
And they're not related to anything.
It's just It's just
Alright.
our questions that we just
Okay.
Throw them at us.
definitely
some,
do.
some lightheartedness after such a...
What is your go-to order at your favourite restaurant?
Oh, chicken palmy. That's been my
Get a
order
spot
for
with
the
it,
last 20 years. Is chicken palmy, chips and veg, done.
Chips and veg.
The worst part is I'll read the menu for like 20 minutes and then just get a palmy anyway.
Yeah, just I do that sometimes too. It's just like,
Yeah.
I knew I was getting it anyway.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, I might, spice it up a bit. Nah, palmy.
I feel like Mark's has changed me into a palmy gal, so I'd be the same.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Pause. Do you notice that they say palmy?
Oh yeah, palmy. Why is that the Geelong?
Oh, do you say Palmer?
Palmer.
We say
I'm a
it's
palmy guy.
I say
Palmy.
palmy.
What's the difference? Palmer, palmy. One's a girl, one's a boy, or one's I don't know.
I found that when starting to work in Geelong, I noticed everyone said palmy.
And then you have my dad. He goes, "Hey, give me the chicken pajama."
I like that one better.
If money and time weren't an issue, what's one dream you would chase tomorrow?
I would get a caravan
That's
and I would
insane.
do an Australia trip tomorrow.
Do a lap.
Yeah.
Oh, she would frop.
She would love it.
Yeah, we'd love to do a lap in a
And
van.
everything, aren't you? Palmies and fucking.
I know. It's meant to be.
To be.
Nah,
Look at
that's-
you.
We got to be different in the last question.
Okay, yeah.
Well,
Oh
I
no,
don't know.
this is probably going to be like, if your story could help just one person, what do you hope they take from it?
Well,
You kind of answered a little bit of it, but
I'm going to go first so you can't copy me. Just compassion. Like, if there's, physically nothing you can do, then just be compassionate for them in their moment of vulnerability, I suppose. Like I said, I'd just sit with Lisa and not say a word. But I was there with her in that moment, and if that's what helped, then that's what I did.
I think for me it's just the knowledge, really. Knowledge is power, and if women out there, if there are men out there, if there's anyone out there that's thinking about, having children, be aware that this can happen and have that knowledge and have that, power to go to your doctor and say something isn't right. I have heard of hyperemesis. Is it this?
thank you so much for being so vulnerable and just speaking so beautifully about this really traumatic bloody journey.
yeah, I had no clue about it coming onto this, and now, wow, crazy.
So if you were to hear this on a work site, you would now be informed.
Well, that's right. I've told, the boys at work, my missus had hyperemesis, HG, and they're like, what's that? I was like,
Can you explain it?
yeah, and they're like, really? That would suck. I was like, yeah, it did.
No shit.
It's not. Well, we thank you so much. We just hope, I know that this is going to make a huge impact to anyone who is, as you said, thinking of kids or
100%.
might know someone or is going through this. So we appreciate you guys. Thank you so much.
No worries.
Thank
Thank
you.
you for having
Thank
us.
you so much.
Yeah.